Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, everybody. Good to see y'all. See Rumen got in here first. We got Boba, Shadow Living, Beam It Up. Hey, guys. Hey, let's go. What's up, buddy? Mark Cooper, what's going on? Lithgo says, love stream on the Love Boat, sell it to Netflix and make a packet. Got J-Mac in chat. Gordon Williams, Joseph, how's it going? Good to have you, Gordon. Glad you can make it live. Randy, how's it going? So we're doing something a little different tonight, guys. We're doing a viewer's choice. Uh, Beacon, Dean, how's it going? We're doing a viewer's choice tonight, guys. So what that means is we got 3 projects, and you guys get to pick which one we're doing on stream tonight. So it'll be a little bit of a wild card. Got the bacon in chat. Gotta love bacon. So our choices tonight. No, we're not doing laser tattoos. No branding tonight. So we're either doing some slate coasters. We're doing a coin, or we're doing a machete. And depending on what you guys pick, will depend on what we're engraving. I think what we're going to do is we're going to create a poll. All right, let me know what you guys think. I popped a poll up, so you guys should see that in the stream. And let me know what you guys think. Whatever we don't do tonight, we'll probably end up doing in a future stream. So don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It's not a loss. Don't worry. If you guys don't see the poll, it should be in the stream window. So if you're full screen right now, drop out of full screen and you should see it popped up. Boba says we should do a stream for the most random customer request of the week. I mean, technically 2 of these are sort of customer requests. They're family members. They're not really customers, but Lithgo says slate is fun. I do mine in 2 color now. So that's part of my goal tonight. So if we do slate, we're going to be testing a couple of settings I want to try out. If we do a coin, it's entirely new for me. Everything tonight is something I haven't done before. I've never done a machete. I haven't dove into coins yet on this machine, and I haven't done slate on fiber. I've only done slate on CO2. So it's all new things. If it's a tie between something, I will probably vote on something myself to break the tie, or I'll just wait until it's broken by viewers. The laser is a MOPA, yes. It's a 60 watt JPT M7. He'd have to engrave one side of the coin. I might do both sides. I think I might do both sides. We'll see. If we do the coin, it may not finish both sides tonight, depending on timing. Boba says, can you run two different settings in Easy Crash? You can using two different pens, but right now I'm set up for Lightburn. Beacon says, even more reason to go coin. That way you'll pull your hair out like the rest of us. Oh, thanks, man. I don't have much hair to give at this point. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm kind of balding. Shadow says, I buy machetes at Walmart for under $5. Yes. So you can get cheap machetes at Walmart. You can also get them at like Harbor Freight. There's a couple of good options out there for cheap machetes. Yes, don't forget to smash the like button. Ruben says, coins take a minimum of 1 hour per side to deep engrave. Yeah. Soon, Boba. Very soon. When would be the best session to discuss problems with the CO2 lasers, setting up rotary, and calibration issues? I wasn't really planning on doing too much in the way of CO2 tonight, just focusing on the fiber. But we can definitely touch base on CO2 stuff in a future live stream. Depending on what the issues are, it might be a little complex for discussing through live, Gordon. But if you're on either the Discord or Facebook, or even the LMA group, and you do a forum post, or in the Discord, just do a standard post in like the CO2 support chat, we can try and help you out there. It's a little easier to follow versus the live stream. Jordan, ever done golf clubs? No, I have not. Anybody ever do a fully hollowed out coin? No, I haven't. Can't speak for anybody else. It might be a little faster on the 60 watt, just because I think I have a higher pulse energy than the 50, but your mileage may vary. I still have to test it. We'll see. Let's see. We got 44% on the coin tonight. So it looks like we're doing a coin. Yeah, a 30 watt. So that in theory would go just a bit slower, but we'll see. So let's get set up. Gonna open up Lightburn here, and we'll get you guys into what I'm looking at. I'm gonna turn on the laser. Can you engrave the coin edge? I mean, in theory you could. I don't see why not. The ones I have are textured though. Yeah, I'll go with this one. I'll show you here. They're like, I think they would call it diamond cut or knurled. I don't necessarily want to engrave the edge of mine. I want to keep it the way it is. Do you already have artwork prep for the coin? No, I don't. That's one thing we're going to be doing. So the coin I want to do, rather the coin that was asked of me, we're going to be doing a heads tails coin for my brother, who is DMing a Dungeons and Dragons group. He wants a coin for doing 50-50 rolls. So we're going to do a thumbs up, and he requested a middle finger on the other side. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. We'll start with the thumbs up, and we'll see how long that takes to engrave. Alright, let me get Lightburn up for you guys here. Great idea for a DM. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good idea when we were bouncing back and forth because he said he wanted a coin. We were trying to discuss what kind of options would be fun for him, and since it's an entirely adult group that they do, the hand characters were appropriate for the ages. So Joseph says, why does a standard lens come in 100 but OPEX is 112? Any reason? I don't really know the technical reason aside from the way the lenses I guess the way they'd be put together. It affects the usable work area. Sorry, I don't really have a great answer for that. All right, let's get up here. All right, so let me see. Ruben says, sorry if you answered, I missed it. Where did you get the coins from? Actually, funny enough, big thanks to Patrick, one of the staff members in the Laser Everything community. Sent me a care package, and he sent me, let me switch coins, or cameras. He sent me a couple of these, I believe they're Cooper nickel, if I'm not mistaken. So I have a couple of those. Sent me a couple of these, or one of these rather, brass, I believe one of those, and one of these with the edge is rather interesting on that one. The coins are blanks, yes. So big thank you to Patrick. Big shout out to Patrick. So Joseph says, just curious, I have a 70, 200, 300, and all my lenses are OPEX, so I was just sticking with them. 100 seems to be the go-to lens for a lot of people. Yeah, 100, the 100 to 110 range is a great like all-rounder. It gives you an okay amount of work area, and it keeps the dot size small, and you get a lot of detail out of it. You'll notice that staying on that lower side of work area gives you a lot more push compared to the larger lenses when you're working with certain metals like copper, for example. Yep, coin blanks. 40 millimeter or 34 millimeter. I actually think it's somewhere in between. I can tell you for sure. $31.75. So it's actually a little smaller than both of those. I was wrong. Can they be acquired in the US? Yes. Though I don't know where he got them from. If he pops into chat at some point, I will see if he can share that. But I'm pretty sure he sourced them within the US. We'll see. Hey Llama, good to have you. Welcome in. I will be using a 110. It's the smallest lens I have right now. I have a 110 and a 200 for this laser at the moment. I don't have a 70. It's on the future list. All right, let's get this prepped. So, what we're gonna do and go Lightburn here. I'm going to make a tool path. We're gonna make that 31.75, just like the coin. Shadow Living says, I use a 10-watt fiber with a 70mm lens. Get great detail. Yes. 3D printing gear. Hello. Hello. Alright, so we got our circle here to signify the size of our coin. And what I'm going to do here next is we're going to quite literally pull a random thumbs up from the internet. Let's see what we can find here. Joseph says, I just ordered a 112 from CloudRay, shipping from China. They are saying 5 days. Yeah, that sounds about right. Smaller items go real fast, especially if it's air freight. So you'll probably have it in no time. Lithgo says, same. I'd love a 70 to add to the collection, but so far the 110 is my main use. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm getting by with everything I want to do on the 110, so I don't really have a compelling reason to get a 70 yet. But it's on the list for sure, especially if I'm going to be knocking out coins. HTL, I was on the wrong account. Happens. Bloody Demon says, I definitely need a smaller lens, realizing the limitation of my 300mm lens that came default with my 50 watt, especially with deep engraving. Yeah, yeah, it's going to go much slower because your dot size is going to be enormous compared to something like a 150 or smaller millimeter work area lens. If you jump down to like a 110, you'll be flying. Matt D says, I need to get a fiber. I agree. Everyone should have a fiber laser. Though I know that's not realistic. But in a perfect world, absolutely. So, trying to see. I think we're going to go with something like this. What do you guys think of that thumbs up? Does that work for everybody? We'll take a vote. Should we do 1 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up on the coin? One thumb. Yeah, it's seeming like everybody's in agreement there. Okay. We're sticking with one thumb. So, the thumb's downside isn't going to be a thumb. It's going to be the third finger, if you know what I mean. So we won't have to worry about misinterpretations of that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So what we're going to do, I don't know if you guys can tell, there's a bit of a background in this. It's gray. So we're going to actually go in here and trace this. And I'm just going to trust Lightburn. We're going to go with it. And delete that. Oh, whoops. There we go. It helps if we don't overlap that. We'll get rid of that. So we got a perfect trace, and that's how we do that. Perfect says, stop teasing us with freaking Lightburn for Galvo, you bastage. So evil. Sorry, man. To be fair, if it makes you feel any better, I spent about 2 hours before stream troubleshooting because I'm still on beta, and that is exactly why it's not available to the public yet. So I spend a significant amount of my time beta testing this so that you guys don't have to deal with the headaches. And thanks to the guys at Lightburn for fixing those quickly, actually. Boba says, I don't have MOPA, but I do have a JPT, but I haven't figured out how to do colors with it yet. That's okay. JPT LPE sources are kind of MOPA, but not quite. You don't have the unlocked pulse width, but you get with the frequency range, you can do a lot. So don't give up. James says, hello from Fort Polk, Louisiana. I have a JPT 60 watt MOPA and love it. Excellent. That's what we're working with tonight. It's good to have you. All right, so let's get this resized. And we're going to center that up. Oop. There we go. That seems about right. What do you guys think? Does chat agree? Does that look okay? We'll move forward together. It's a community project. All right, we got some thumbs up. Looks good. A touch right. We can do a touch right. How's that? Is that an improvement, guys? All right, cool. Some more thumbs up. I like it. All right, so I'm gonna clear my work area here and make a little room so we can actually run the laser. Right. Easy says, hello, everyone. Hey, buddy. Good to have you. And let's switch cameras here. And we are going to drop this boy down. Shadow says, I'm scared to death of trying to learn Lightburn. It just seems daunting to me. Don't worry about it, man. It's easy. You saw how easy it was so far with just what I did. We basically made an outline of the size of the coin we're doing. We traced our thing, or artwork, into a vector. And we sized it within our shaping circle. Easy as that. So what we're going to do, just to show you full clarity, bottom right we have frame. I know some of you are comfortable with Lightburn and some of you are not. So as you can see, we're a little off there. And it is framing to the toolpath that we made, that orange circle. Looks about good to me. Let me shift this so maybe you guys can get a better view. There we go. All right. So, anybody have any questions so far on where we're at? Easy says Lightburn for Galva rocks. I agree. I agree. So I think this coin is Cooper nickel, which would mean it's a higher percentage of copper to nickel, which means it should behave similar to maybe brass, would be my guess, or copper. So those are kind of the ballpark settings we're going to start with, and hopefully I don't burn a hole in the coin. So we shall see. So, switch back to Lightburn. I'm going to go into my library here, and I think we're going to go with brass settings to start. Yeah, we'll go with brass settings. And what we're going to do, flood fill, crosshatch, and we're going to change the scan angle, because why not? HTL says, why is ... Good question. Good question. Kevin says, I use Lightburn on my CO2. I really like it. Me too. Me too. This project may lead into another video coming up in the near future regarding jigs with coins, just so you know. Alright, hang in there tight one, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. And then I will be with you guys in chat while we hang out and watch the coin run. I just need to turn on my exhaust. letting her rip. Let's see how one pass looks. Oh yeah, that's great. Alright, so we are going to switch back here. So for here, we're going to do, let's say, I don't know, how many passes do you guys want me to do? 50? 35 to start? We'll see what it looks like. $25. Alright. Ruben's in first with the 25, so that's what we're doing. So, sounds like an A10 machine gun burst. Love it. I agree. Fiber's very rewarding to listen to be honest. 50 would cut through. Yeah, it might, to be honest. Perfect 10 says, JPT is a name brand, MOPA is the type of laser. JPT makes MOPAs as well as regular fibers. You are correct. Due to marketing slang, to be honest, JPT, like standard LPE sources, are sometimes advertised as locked pulse width MOPAs. I know that's not entirely accurate, but that's kind of just the way they're marketed, just because the frequency range is so broad compared to other fiber sources. Michael Hartman says, not the right finger. Don't worry, we're going to be doing a different finger on the other side. HTL says, is the coin blank softer than aluminum? I honestly don't know. This is my very first coin. We're doing it together. Lasers go burr. Yes. Shadow Living says, did you have to hatch this before engraving? No. So, when I switch back to Lightburn after past 25, it's going pretty quick. I'll show you what I did. There it goes. So, let me take a look at the coin. It's looking good. I don't know. I think we're going to do another 25. So, before I start it, let me switch back to Lightburn, and I'll show Shadow what I was talking about here. I know it's a little different if you haven't had a CO2 before and used Lightburn. So in Lightburn, which is the way it's different from EasyCAD with fills, is this is set to fill mode, so it fills inside the vector lines. Whereas if I change this to line, it's just the outline of it's the vector lines basically. So switching this to fill is kind of like the equivalent of hatching it. And then when you double click on that layer, you get your, essentially what would be your hatch settings, right? So that's how that works. Yes, Easy says preview is another great option. I totally agree. I'd love to find out how many passes it would take to perforate it completely. I'm not going to be doing that tonight, but that could be something we can mess with in the future. Maybe not with this. I have some big pieces of aluminum. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I think they're steel. We could try cutting in the future. Ruben says if it's cupronickel, then I doubt it. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really familiar with like hardnesses of metal, but yeah, no problem, no problem. All right, so we are going to start another one. No, this is a coin, man. We're not putting a chain in there. All right. All right, so I'm going to make this a touch bigger again for you guys. Sorry. Hopefully that's makes it a little more visible. Alright, so here we go. We're going to do another 25 passes. Ferdinand watching, but I only see one thumbs up. What's up with that? It could be... Sometimes the thumbs up count gets stuck, so it can continue to go up, but you might not see it. No, HDL, we're not drilling holes tonight. Unless it's by accident. I agree. Let's keep the algorithm happy. If you guys like hanging out, doing random projects with me, hit that thumbs up, and we'll keep the good times rolling. And there's one big thumbs up in the middle of the coin, absolutely. Good point, Ben. Michael says, when engraving with the fiber, is there dust like acrylic that can get in the way when doing fiber? That's an excellent question. So, yes, actually, that can be a problem at times. Off camera, just to the side of the coin there, to the right, I have a 6-inch duct paired to a rather hefty exhaust fan. It's not turned all the way up, it's at medium, but it's moving probably about 200 CFM worth of air across it, and that's helping. Now, it doesn't really help the same way it would help with the CO2 with air assist, because air assist is more of an active pressure against the surface, which actually, I don't know if you guys saw Patrick's live stream the last couple weeks. He did a couple of them. He developed a air assist kit for the fiber. Now that's something I'm going to be setting up here in the future. I need to pick up an air compressor because I'm going to be upgrading both my CO2 and my fiber to run on air assist through a compressor instead of through the little like soda can style compressor that comes with the machine. and that will also help to move the ablated material off the surface to get it out of the way of the beam. Ruben says you should do a black setting on that so the thumb stands out. I don't know, maybe, lol, it would look how the original picture looked. Yes, that is the game plan. We're gonna try the brass black deep. After we're done, we get the depth we want. HTL says, I'm only 6.5% serious. I wouldn't do it unless it got messed up. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible I do it, to be fair. It is my first one. Gordon says, looks nice and raised. Yep. Alright, let's get some eyes on. Let me take a look at it in person. Joseph says, compressor is the way to go with air assist. The air assist that came with my CO2 blows, pun intended. The problem with mine is it's starting to fail to blow, actually. Which is, I need, actually, I'll give you guys a good example of why I need to upgrade my air assist on my CO2. While we're at it. So, here's one of the cutouts I've done recently, and you can see how much charring there is along the edges. Now normally that would just be on the bottom side along the honeycomb, right? Except it's on both sides. This was actually the bottom side. You can see kind of where it, oh, I'm doing this backwards, it's hard. You can kind of see where it popped through there and burned it a little bit. It did that because there's not enough air pressure. So, yeah, all of my parts came out very singed. So one thing that air assist can do to prevent a lot of post work and stuff like that is you increase your air pressure when you're cutting, and you can that way reduce flare-ups and get the soot cleared away faster. It's less of a problem when you're engraving. You actually want less air pressure versus more when you're engraving, but cutting in particular, you want to boost it up a little bit. Yeah. Is there a benefit to many low power passes versus strong power? Few passes and then finishing. So, from the limited testing I've done, and also from learning through the community, when you're doing something deep, generally speaking, multiple fast passes is going to be usually more effective than slower passes that are harder, because usually you end up warping the material if it's not super thick. Or you can singe it and darken it, which sometimes that's a good thing, but not so much when you're trying to deep engrave. You want to push that material away quickly. But that's something I'll be testing out myself too over time. E3 says, hey guys, I'm late to the party. How's everyone doing this evening? Looking good, man. Thanks for joining us. We're hanging out doing a coin. Lithgo says 15 PSI Ultimate Air Assist works for me. Yep, that's kind of the game plan for me too. I'm looking to get up into the somewhere in the like 13 to 18 range, I think is probably where I'm going to be at. Because I want to see if I can get like half-inch ply cut. The thickest I've gone is quarter, or a little over a quarter, like 3/8. Don't forget water separator. Yes, Water separator and a regulator is key for that. Urulu says, is Lightburn new version out yet? I don't believe it's out unless you're in the beta group. I'm actually on on a build from 2 weeks ago still. Is there any way I can get a preview of it? I don't believe there's a public preview of the Galvo beta yet. Sorry. Yeah, what Shadow said. Once we have more info on that, I am fairly positive there will be everyone in the Discord and Facebook group will be shouting it from the rooftops with great anticipation. California Air Tools makes a super quiet compressor. You're going down the path of what I have planned. Yes, we will be looking at a California Air Tools compressor in the near future. All right, so we're going back to the coin here. I don't mean to delay, but just answering questions. So we're going to go back to the coin. We're not very deep, but we are breaking into the surface. I want to go at least twice as deep as we are now. I know it's kind of hard to pick up on the webcam, and I don't want to move the coin because I don't want to mess up the alignment. So it's going to be a little difficult to see, but we're going to run 50 more passes. That will give us a total of 101 passes. So we are going to start. Kind of a random question outside the discussion. I've had an IPG over temp error twice on my 50 watt JPT, no idea why. Is it right when you turn it on? Or is it when you've been using it for a while? If it's right when you're turning it on, it could be something else going on. Lithgo says, put a fan in front of it. I had that happen during the summer here in Australia. Yeah. So if it's happening right when you're starting the machine and you haven't used it for a while, that could be a problem. I think that's Alex said loose wire source going out. Could definitely be the case. Check all the wiring to make sure nothing's loose. Make sure the fans aren't clogged. Make sure you're not getting... back at my last IT job, we used to call it chocolate cake caught in the fans. It's like gross metal clogged upness in the fans. That can absolutely do it. When you're using it for several minutes. Yeah, make sure you don't have clogs. If you open up your fiber tower and you'll see the source in there, for one, make sure any of the fans that might be inside your main case aren't clogged. They don't have junk in them. They don't have a ton of metal. Yes, chocolate cake, as I like to say. Just dust that collects like oil and nastiness from the air, especially in an industrial or whatever environment, can really pick up a lot of nasty stuff and kind of cake together. And then the source itself will usually also have a couple of dedicated fans for it. You may need to see what the status of those fans are. If those fans are failing to be able to turn, your source is going to overheat. And it could just be that it's really hot and humid where you are, and you may just need more airflow. Make sure there's not anything blocking the breathing holes on your case too. Like if it's underneath your shelf and you have boxes up against it, you may need to move those away so that those holes have room to let heat out. They're designed to breathe. Lithgo says, my JPT has exhaust fans on the back with a filter on the outside. Think about that for a sec. Yeah, that's a little odd. You're welcome, HTL. I'm hungry too. I want some dessert. Chocolate cake sounds good, but not from inside of a laser, like real chocolate cake. Sucks from the case through the fan, then out through the filter. Yeah, that seems a little backwards. I think they might have oopsied the polarity on your fan or something. Pizza first, then chocolate cake. Unfortunately, I can't eat tomato, but pizza does sound good. And chocolate cake is amazing. Horsemanship says, I have a California Air. Works really well, nice and quiet. However, I had to replace the drain valve after the ball roller inside it stripped out. Okay, that's good to know. Something for me to watch out for. I appreciate that. I will have to keep an eye on that. Do you drain it every day that you use it, or do you just kind of leave it and you have an air a water separator? I know the right way to do it is to drain it at the end of every day so that it's not sitting there, but sometimes it's kind of depends on who's using it. Michael says, so is the audio on this just muted out the laser, as lots of videos I've heard the fiber painfully loud noises? It's because the fiber is like 3 feet behind me. So it's going to pick up my voice before it picks up the fiber. Joseph says he had the same problem with his California air compressor. Swapped the ball valve for a better one. No issues since. Good to know. He thinks part of his problem was the wife liked to forget to drain it. And then Horseman says, yes, drained it before and after use, and I have a water separator. Okay. So we're getting both sides of that. Drained every day and then potentially forgot to drain it. So it could just be something I'm going to have to watch for. I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for the feedback. And I will definitely share my feedback on that. HTL says I drain mine once a month and more often in warm, humid weather. Okay. Yeah, for me, warm, humid weather is unavoidable at this point. I live up in the Northeast, and we're deep into spring, going into summer, and it's persistently humid up here now. Water wasn't the issue. The metal ball that rotates open and closed is fairly cheap. Okay. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, water separator won't keep water out of the tank. You're absolutely right. So that's gonna catch the water that goes through the line under pressure. You are correct. And you certainly don't want water sitting in your tank. That will rust it out, give you other problems. All right, let's see. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, guys, it looks good. Alright, so what we're gonna do, switch back to Lightburn, and we're going to switch our settings here to brass black deep. And this, hopefully, I have not tested it, I just converted it, will Give us a good dark mark. James says California Air does not offer an aluminum tank version. That's what I bought. Does offer an aluminum tank version. That's what I bought. Sorry, I misread that. California Air does offer an aluminum tank version. That's what I bought. I did not realize that. I will have to keep an eye on that. Is there, aside from the potential of like a steel tank, you know, corroding or rotting or rusting, is there a different pro or con to aluminum? Is there any differences in like max pressure or anything like that, capacity wise? Alright, so we're set up for hopefully brass black. Totally untested on my machine, so we're going to try it out together. It's like a sparkler, guys. Let's take a look. Shadow says, LE content is not good. It's great. Thanks, man. We do our best. So I'm going to do probably one or two more passes just because I want to darken it up a little bit more. It is looking good, though. Just one moment. Wendy says, hey, late, but I made it. It's all good, Wendy. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. We love you. Hope you're doing good. Better late than never. We appreciate you. Slag City, lots of debris. Yes. This is one of those situations where an air assist might help. It might cool it down before it heats it to black, but it'll keep the debris off. I use one for an aquarium air pump, 100 liter, and I love it. Nice. Punished for low speed, yeah. Looks like if you do more passes, you're going to start losing detail. A good artist knows when to stop. Yeah. Alright, so here, let's do this. Another thing we're going to do. We're already off. Okay. Cool. I was concerned I still had flood fill on, but I do not. Ruben, what would you run for a cleaning pass on Cooper Nickel? And I'll do it. 2500, 3580. I'll do it. That's fine. I'll do like, instead of 35, I'll do like 30, since I'm on a 60 watt. That should help with the adjustment. Let me switch to Lightburn so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So with Lightburn, we have two ways we can adjust, right? So it's kind of just like on CO2. You have your power options down here. On Galvo, you have frequency and Q-pulse on MOPA. Or you can double click, just like on your CO2. You can do it through here. So Ruben says 2500. Max power, he suggests 35 on his 50 watt, so we'll do 30 on our 60 watt, just to ballpark it. 80 frequency. We'll give it a go. Oh, wait a minute. I did a whoopsie. What we're gonna do is hide that. We'll just clean the whole coin off. Frequency. So we're going to make this a little bigger in the coin outline. Actually, we don't have to. It's sized. So yeah, let's give it a go. For science. You guys ready? What do you guys think? I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. So if we go back to Lightburn here, I'm going to open up the layer by double clicking. And we did that at a scan angle of 0. Okay? So instead of 0, let's do scan angle of 90 to reverse the direction, and we'll do it one more time. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna call it there. Alright, we're switching to the big camera. What do you think, guys? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Looking awesome. Thumbs up. That's what I like to see. All right. So. And that's how you get a thumbs up. Thanks, Michael. Came out great. Appreciate that, Joseph. Cleaning pass worked great. I agree, Ruben. Thank you for that. We are going to keep that as a setting now on my computer, because I actually like the finish that gave immensely. So, you know what? I'm going to show you guys how to do that, because I don't think we showed that. So, over here on the right hand side, okay, this is the setting that we just got from Ruben. So if I go down here to library, okay, create new from layer. Brass, engrave, we're going to call it clean pass from Ruben. Thank you, Ruben. You earned a place in my parameter library. Can't wait to see the other side. Me either. Me either. Michael says, so when is Lightburn releasing for fiber? So soon. Q2 is the time frame we were given. So realistically, probably within the next several weeks to maybe month and a half, if I had to guess. I don't have those details, to be honest. I don't think the guys at Lightburn have those details, just because they're not going to release something they're not entirely happy with and is stable. They have a lot of pride in their work. So Michael says, is EasyCAD 2 required? For if you want to use Lightburn, as of right now, yes. Lightburn will only be supporting EasyCAD 2 on release. They haven't started looking at EasyCAD 3 from what I understand. Because they functionally operate differently, it's going to take some modification to incorporate that. Michael says, K going fiber in September. That's what I like to hear. Q2 ends in June. Yes. So the end of June. Q3 starts in July. So if I had to guess, I mean we haven't even gotten into June yet, but Laser Everything Official just shared a video with us describing that info. Yes. But yeah, officially we don't know when it will be out. So what we're going to do, let's switch back to our software here. And we are going to prep and set this back to line and set that, actually, we're going to Control Z back here because I want the size to be accurate. And we're going to, because I want to be able to save this and do this again in the future if I ever want to make another coin, I'll just drop it here. We're going to say coin side 1. And I'll fix it later. So what we're going to do now, get rid of that. Yes, credit to Alex. He did send me artwork, so we're going to be prepping that. I'm downloading it now. We're opening it up. Easy says, it's another finger, isn't it, Alex? Maybe. Alright. So here is side 2, guys. Courtesy of Alex. He hooked us up with the pro level artwork. So we're going to resize this. Why am I doing it that way? We know the size. And we're going to center it there. He did not send me an empty file. Alright, so. Alex says, centering this will be more difficult because we're marking right around the outside edge. Yes, we are. Give me one moment. I must have missed your focusing. Did you just use the red light or focus stick? I used the red light. Yeah, I've double checked that my my central focus point is right in the middle of my focus, or my focal depth is right in the middle when my focus points are aligned. I'll show you that when I get the coin back on the bed. All right, so while we're on Lightburn, let's get our passes set up here. So we did 100 passes. I think we're going to do 50 passes. Used 45 crosshatch, blood fill. We'll start with 50 passes, and we'll see where we're at. Everybody in agreement with 50 passes to start, and we'll see what we're looking at? Alright, let me show you how I focused earlier, just so I don't forget to do that. So, we're going to pretend like I'm redoing this from scratch. If we put this here, on the side of my laser head, sorry, my chair was in the way of the mic. On the side of my laser head, I have two buttons. I have a 100mm button, and I have a 200mm button. And the 100 turns on one of two laser lights. So, that's one. That's the second one. The second one is if I have a 200mm lens in. And that's going to line up with this dot when I'm in focus, so when I raise it up. Okay? But with the 100, I'm already lined up. So perfect lined up. Thanks, Ruben. Either way works for me. Either way works for me. So, what I'm going to be doing, I want to get this kind of lined up. Perfect flip. It's not going to be perfect, but it's okay. So, we're going to go over to Lightburn, like we were at before. Laser, frame. Okay, we're framing right now. We're going to go back to the webcam. I think that's the best I can do with aligning. Couldn't you just mark the cork? I could, but it would be more of a smoldering fire on my laser bed. Fiber does not do well with wood, unfortunately. Does Lightburn not show contour like EasyCAD does? I only see the circle. So, here, let me see if I can show the menu. There we go. So I can do contour, hull, or bounds. So let me, hang tight, hang tight. I will show you the difference really quick. So, this is contour. Hull is just the outer area. And bounds is like a square version of it, essentially. Obviously, the usefulness of each of these is going to depend on what you're trying to do, right? But yeah, you do have some options there with framing. So let's get rid of those. I've not tried the brass. This is on Cupronickel so far. So it's like, from what I understand, Cupronickel is like 70% copper to nickel. I don't know. But, we're going to give it a go. I'm going to double check my framing again because now I'm a little antsy. Alright, we're going to give it a go. 50 passes. See you guys on the other side. You guys have any questions so far while we let this run? James says, I also do not like trying to align the project that engraves close to the edge. Your eye easily picks up that if you did not do it correct or not. Yes. So, how long can you live stream? I mean, it's 11:12 now for me in the East Coast. I'm probably going to be done after the coin's done, to be honest. So James, with the having to try and align projects perfectly, um, here's a little spoiler alert. I'm working on a jigs episode, so you only ever have to align something once, and then you can just screw it down to your fiber bed. And then it will be aligned forever, as long as you don't physically unbolt your fiber head from your laser or something. Thank God for optimized hatch patterns. Absolutely. What state are you located? I'm in the East Coast as well. I'm in Connecticut, Michael. This looks like an inverted image. Is the background going to be deep with raised lettering? Yes, that's what we're doing. So the associated finger and the text and the border will be popping up. The rest of it will be reliefed. Really great definition, or really getting good definition even with early passes. Thanks, Wendy. So we have it set for 50 passes. This might be a little different from the other side because we're doing it as like a relief compared to the other side. You understand, of course, you're cutting into my beauty sleep time, right? That's the life of a laser engraver. We never sleep. Soon, though. Soon. I'm probably not doing anything much more than answering questions after the coin's done. So, we probably won't be going for too much longer, I don't think. James says, sounds awesome. Will that jig be tied to Lightburn, or can you use it in EasyCAD 3? I have it designed in Lightburn only because I cut them out on my CO2 laser. But once you get it aligned, in theory, your focal point, or your center point of your lens, your work area, will be worked out, so you can actually plan multiple items once you get that worked out, and you will only have to adjust it little by little. What you can do is you can save a file for EasyCAD 3 with your positional square or circle or what have you, so you can center your work to that and then save it as, and then you have a functional it's like the save file associated with the jig. So once you get that aligned the first time, you will never have to move it again. Tyler says you're already beautiful enough, you don't need beauty sleep. That's fair. That's fair. Well put, sir. Wendy says, great info and content we're staying up to watch. I appreciate that, Wendy. Thank you. Thanks, guys. So I will be, I know you probably have some more questions on the jig, but I will be covering that in depth in a full featured episode that I'm working on. So I am partway through filming that, and that will be coming soonish. Joseph says, did you use settings for brass from the Laser Everything library? they're converted for my wattage and lens size. But yes, I did. This kind of goes to show what you can do with just some... I mean, these aren't even cupronickel settings, right? This isn't even designed for this metal. It's actually for brass. So that kind of goes to show what you can do with minimal testing and just converting your settings. Now I could, of course I could fine tune this, right? And get potentially a better output, but for you know, a starter project, I'm pretty happy with it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them in chat. We'll be hanging out while this runs. Joseph says, that library has been pretty spot on when I've converted it for my 60 watt on different lenses. It gets you pretty close into the ballpark. Yeah, at least from what I've tested so far, I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten out of it. Some people report that it converts a little bit high depending on what you're using. So even if you had to drop the power just a little bit, I mean, it still gets you into the ballpark, so you're not wasting a ton of material testing. Yeah, I agree. Can you engrave 3D cards? So I don't have a 3D laser. That involves a little bit of a different setup. But I can do, to some degree, relief engraves, yeah. It kind of depends on what you're looking for. So I could get like an STL, like a 3D file, or I think they're called topographical height map, or height mapped photo PNGs. I don't know the technical term for it, but basically it adjusts power by tone of the image, and it engraves certain areas deeper than others, if you want to consider it that way. But it snips it down into layers and does it that way. So you can sort of do 3D with this. It's going to be a little different. Yeah, I can't quite go over and look at it myself in person just yet because it's still running, but once it's done with this pass, I'm going to go take a deep look in person. Yep, thanks so much, bro. Anytime. Happy to answer any questions I can. If you think of anything else, just let me know. So while the fiber is running, you can't actually watch it. It's uncomfortable to watch. So even with the fiber glasses on, you can kind of get like welder's eye from staring at the really bright dot for too long. It protects your eye from the laser wavelength. It doesn't protect your eye from the brightness. So I just kind of tend to look away and look at my computer instead of that, and I watch through the webcam with you guys. So once it's done with, it's set to do 50 passes total. So once it's done with 50 passes, we'll take a look and see what it's looking like. These coins take forever, but they're really cool when they're done. I agree. Depending on what you're doing in the length of time, I feel like, again, this is my first coin with you guys. Depending on, at least from what I've read through everyone's experiences that they've shared, it can really turn into a diminishing return the deeper you want to go on a coin. So sometimes it's hard to find that balance if you're trying to sell them. But we have future projects planned with it. Joseph says, what would you charge someone for a coin like this? Lots of laser time. I don't know. Like I said, this is for a family member for me, so it's more of a gift. I don't really have a price set out for this, but coins are really difficult to price out because of that. They do take a pretty big time investment. You could, instead of doing a reverse engrave like I'm doing, or inverted engrave on this image, if you flip it and go the other way, so you're engraving the letters and the fingers in, it would reduce the actual engrave surface down, so it'd go faster, like side one. As it is, because there's significantly more square millimeters of surface area being covered by the laser on this side, it's going to take just longer because of that. So it's one of those things. If I was going to be doing this as like a product, I would probably bump down to a 70 millimeter lens, and I'd be doing 4 of these at a time to try and speed it up. That way it reduces cycle time. Watch only with proper eye protection. Yes. So, not to be confused, laser eye protection will help you with being blinded by the actual laser beam being reflected. However, it won't stop you from getting welder's eye, which is kind of like staring at the sun. So even if you stare at the sun with sunglasses on, it's still going to be far too bright for your eyes to handle. That's kind of the same case with this. It's kind of like looking straight into a spotlight, or like a welding tip while you're welding. So a welding helmet drops the effective light transmission down. That's why a lot of laser glasses will give you different options for percentage of transmitted light through the lens. So they also act as like sunglasses, for example. Interesting, as I have kids, so I guess I would need to use something to block it out. Yes. So if you're putting the laser in an area that will effectively be kind of open to the family, especially if they're not wearing eye protection, or they could be running through while they're playing, I would definitely consider an enclosure. There's enclosure options out there, several of them. Just off the top of my head, I know Cloud Ray has one. Just make sure it fits the machine that you order, and it will effectively put your work area behind a metal and safety glass enclosure with a door on it. James says, can you align to center on the workspace in Lightburn like you can in EasyCAD? Does that make sense? Yes. So in EasyCAD, you can align to the center of your workspace vertically and horizontally. You can do the same in Lightburn. So for example, I actually have a metal business card jig that I made for the jig episode. It is centered to my work area in software as it is on the fiber laser table. So once I bolt it down, it's perfectly the center point of the jig for the card holder is perfectly centered to where the beam comes down. So if I center my artwork in Lightburn or in EasyCAD, whatever, it doesn't matter, because it's physically centered to the lens, it will actually engrave perfectly centered vertically and horizontally on the card. Sorry, I probably worded that longer than I needed to. I hope that made sense. Where can I get some material parameter settings for fiber laser? So all of the settings that I've used so far tonight are actually converted off of the LMA parameter library that Alex put up as part of supporting LMA. We don't believe in putting stuff behind a paywall, though. So if you really wanted to, you could use the parameters that I shared so far on the project just by looking through the video. There's also many other materials or parameters for other materials that either myself or Alex have used on different projects and different materials and different videos. So you can get it for free just by watching through the videos for the material you're interested in, or you can support us on LMA, and it's a benefit there, but honestly LMA is more for supporting us in what we do and helping us do what we do every day here. So choice is yours, though. You can always get it for free or go through LMA. Shadow Living, yes, Michael. Eyesight can't be replaced. I set up a camera connected to the TV. Watch without risk. I do this at craft shows. That is a perfect point. So if you're one of the people who want to go to, like, for example, a gun show and show this to people while you're engraving their stuff, or to a craft show, whatever, or if you're just selling one-off stuff at a flea market, make sure you're putting your laser behind a protection screen of some kind. It could be like a trifold project board, something to absorb the beam before it gets to somebody's eye that's walking by. You don't want to blind a poor bystander walking by. So absolutely amazing point, and I'm glad you made that and brought that up. The price of LMA is worth it even if you just want the settings library, says Joseph. I agree. It doesn't just include fiber laser, too. It also includes basic parameters and a conversion sheet for CO2 as well. Just keep in mind, the fiber settings are set up for a 30 watt with a 110 lens. So if you get any other combination, you need to convert it. It also has tips there in case, for whatever reason, the combination goes above 100% power. Obviously, you can't do that. So you'll need to reduce your speed. Same for CO2. It's set up for a 100 watt. So if you end up with like a 50 or 60 watt CO2, you're going to end up with a lot of parameters in that library that are going to suggest you're going at like 150% power or something like that. So obviously you can't do that. Please don't try. That's bad. We don't want you to kill your machine. But you'll have to reduce speed proportionately to gain back your power. LA Hobby Guy says you need an air scrubber in public as well. Yes, definitely a high suggestion there. That is also considered a safety thing because you can seriously destroy somebody's lungs from inhaling certain things. So please, for the love of all that is health, you need to consider a full setup when you start doing stuff in public. Good point. Ruben says, I went to a gun show recently and they just had it out in the open, but it was a light engrave, nothing blinding, but still was like, yeah, can't be safe. No. So that's the perception difference, right? So you can have a physically bright light, but that doesn't really protect you from the fiber wavelength of the beam. You can't see it. It's not in the visible spectrum. So you can be completely blinded by a fiber laser and never see the brightness of the beam hitting a piece of metal. So brightness is kind of irrelevant. Even if it's a light engrave, it's enough to blind somebody. So that person is taking a very large risk doing that. Louisiana Hobby Guy, I use a portable hepatitis filter sitting right near the laser. Not hepatitis, HEPA. Yes. LA Hobby Guy says most counties have regulations for craft shows. Where I live, you need a complete enclosure and a certified air scrubber. I wish that was the regulation for everywhere. Unfortunately, a lot of places are behind the times on that, or just simply don't understand the risk of running a laser without those things. So that's definitely something we try and preach through the community, because we don't want to hear about somebody, accidentally blinding somebody. You can't really, just straight up give somebody a new set of eyes, so. Gordon says, how should we charge for fiber laser services? Some sort of guy would be good. There are other guides out there. I don't think we necessarily covered it here in detail. I know Alex has covered that to some degree. From when he was discussing how he runs his business on a lot of his live streams, he mentioned it. But you kind of have to decide how you want to value your time, right? So you could, if you're doing one-offs, you're going to be charging a different pricing structure than somebody who's doing bulk product. So like, for example, if I was making like 20 of these for a run of coins that I'm going to sell, I would be pricing them differently, and I would also be making them probably 4 at a time, to be honest, to maximize my cycle time. But I'm going to price it differently according to how I'm doing the product or project. So if I'm doing 4 of these at a time, it's going to maximize my actual effective cycle time, which means I have to handle the laser and the artwork and the setup less. I can just swap out the items because it's a reoccurring thing, and it's probably something I'm going to stock, right? If it's a one-off, you're investing far more time because your setup time, the bulk of your man hours is going into prepping an item to be engraved and doing the artwork. So it kind of depends on your business structure. Some people price their work and the things they sell based off of the time in which it's under the laser, because all they do is bulk products, so the amount of setup time is minimized. They're only setting up artwork once for a product, so it's kind of buried into the cost. Other times, if it's like a low turnover product, you need to kind of account for that because you're not going to sell as many, and yeah. LA Hobby Guy says, I use a tablet as a monitor at shows. Yes, that's a perfect option. Just a small tablet or monitor with a little webcam connected. USB webcam is perfect for that. Slap a little trifold board around it, and or some kind of enclosure. CloudRay has enclosures. There's actually a lot of vendors that are popping up with enclosures now. But there's options. And I have no idea how many passes are left because we don't have a pass counter. All I know is I set it for 50, so we will find out when it stops. Is a pass counter something on the laser or external? No, I mean in software we can't see how many passes we've done so far. Yeah. So, that's okay though. We're kind of just in it for the ride at this point. Bloody Demon says, when you go for deeper, do you focus your laser slightly closer to the material, say like 1 millimeter closer? Because as you go deeper, the material will be unfocused. So that's something we do on the CO2 laser, especially when you're like cutting, for example. You would want to focus like halfway through the material so that the tip of your focal point, the finest your focus is central to the piece you're cutting. That is something you can do with a fiber laser, but what ends up happening is it's not as effective. And the reason why is especially with a smaller lens, as you defocus, your dot size begins to get much, much larger. And as your dot size gets much, much larger, you end up ablating less and heating the material more. And what you end up with is more of like an anneal versus an ablate. 1 millimeter won't make that big of a difference, but just for the sake of argument, I hope that made sense. But I focus right to the surface. We're not ablating so much material that it's going to go that far out of focus. We would have to go pretty deep for quite a while for that to be a problem. The focal range on like a 110 millimeter lens is like the majority of the coin that it's engraving. So Joseph says, someone asked earlier if you were polish with anything after. Probably not. I'm probably just going to stick with the cleaning pass. Thanks to Ruben for sharing that. So once I get to the depth I'm happy with, we're gonna stick to that. Does it not show in EasyCAD 2? It does in EasyCAD 3. It has a part counter. Clinton, we're in Lightburn. So, yeah. EasyCAD 2 does have a counter, yes. Just like EasyCAD 3, but... LA Hobby Guy says, I've had bad luck lowering the focus in my testing. Yeah. So, it's... once you leave the focal range, you're heating the surface, you're no longer ablating it. And it's... you're not going to get a desired result. It's really hard to... It doesn't show up on camera the way it looks. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to take a picture. And if you guys are in the Discord, you're going to get to see it before the stream does, just because I'm bouncing it off of the Discord. Okay, let me pull it up. So it almost kind of has like a plaid texture to the metal. But I like it. Not bad. Alright, so what we're going to do here, let me switch back so you can see Lightburn a little better. Oh, I guess we're going back to this. So, on here, we're going to turn off bidirectional fill. Alright, that should help smooth it out a little bit. And I think we're going to change the scan angle. And we're going to drop that pass count. We're going to do 10 passes. Oh, we're going to pull flood fill as well. Alright, so no flood fill, and we change the scan angle to try and even it out a little bit, and bidirectional fill is off, in case you guys are following along. Let me switch you back to the webcam. Actually, I'm going to do 5 passes instead of 10. Thank you for the tip on that, Alex. I appreciate it. My brother just texted me. We're Scottish and Irish. Plaid works. I agree. Flood fill is essentially the snake optimized hatch pattern from EasyCAD. Okay, that makes more sense now. Gotcha. Okay. So this will be easier to tell how many passes we're on too, because it's going to do one horizontal and one vertical instead of flooding. It's going to be all over the place. Anybody have any questions while we're hanging out watching this go again? James says, I'm going to have to start messing with coins. I have mainly engraved aluminum. Where do you get your coin blanks from? Funny enough, these coin blanks were a gift from our buddy Patrick, our other staff member. So he sent over a little care package with some stuff for me to test out. So this is all thanks to our buddy Patrick. That said, I don't have confirmation of where he sourced them. But I can get back to you on that. I don't know as I'm going to get confirmation on that tonight, because for all intents and purposes, might be sleeping by now. But or he might pop in and visit us. I don't know. LA Hobby Guy says he gets his on Amazon. I'm pretty sure the ones I have here from Patrick are from a specific seller, but not off Amazon. He has like a separate dedicated site, but I'll have to get back to you guys on that at another time. Maybe on our next live stream if you guys want to come visit again. So we should be coming up pretty soon on our 5th pass. I set it for 5 just to see what kind of effect we're going to get. Once that's done, we'll see what we're looking at and how our changes kind of affected the surface. How big is the one that I'm engraving now? This is 31.75 millimeters. So that round is done. So 31.75 millimeters, so like 1¼ inches. Hopefully that helps. No problem. Happy to help. HTL shares a lot of his stuff in photos on the Discord server as well. He does some cool stuff. Just pulled out my caliper to see. Good. I'm glad you have a caliper. It is a very important tool. All right, let me check this out. All right, we're gonna juice this up a little bit. We're gonna increase the power. So right now we're running 25. I think we're gonna go up to 40. We'll give it 2 passes at 40% power and we'll see what that does. You can see it's really kicking now. Shadow said, from what I saw, Patrick really hooked you up with that great care package. He really did. He sent me a lot of cool stuff. He sent me an axe. He sent me a backup axe head. He sent me a couple of coins. He sent me some dog tags to mess with. I think some earrings. Like some metal earrings. Some leatherette. So it's like a brown leatherette that engraves gold. Some business card holders, a couple of gold business card, like metal business cards to engrave. Yeah, he sent me a lot of cool stuff. We love Patrick around here. I know I'm forgetting some stuff though. He sent me some like M6 bolts with like thumb screw ends on them for jigging stuff up. So those are pretty cool. I know I'm forgetting stuff though. Let me let me see here. Yeah, so that's kind of helping to even it out. Thanks, Shadow. I appreciate that, man. In HTL, I agree. Patrick does rock. We love that man. Kyle, I was wondering if you could have done an auto rotate on those 50 passes. Yes, I could have. I just did not. So there's an angle increment option. Yes. I am loading a fresh picture onto the Discord now. And I will show it on screen here if you're hanging out with me. Hang tight just a moment. There we go. Give that a second. So, just to show you guys what the difference is here, what we're trying to do is, you see these lines that kind of go at an angle here at a 45? These are what we're trying to clean up with that. So what we're going to do, these are now a little bit more clean than what they were before. We're going to do another 10 passes of that, I think, with the higher power, with those settings changed. We are going to change up the angle again. Maybe we'll try out the automatic angle adjustment. And what that's going to do is help clean this up a little bit more, and then we'll do some cleanup passes like we did on the other side when we finish that up. So, make this bigger. So what we're going to do, we're at 90 here. So we're going to change the angle increment. So every pass, the angle is going to change. So we'll set it to, I guess, 90 degrees. So basically every pass, it's going to rotate 90 degrees to change the angle that the laser is coming across the surface. And it's going to help even up the lines. So we'll do 10 passes. And that's it. We'll swap to the webcam. Oh, Alex is giving me feedback. We're going to do 36 degrees on auto adjustment. Switch back. So what 36 degrees is going to do, and he has a good point, is in a circle you have 360 degrees. If we're going to do 10 passes, like I was just saying, and that's the reason why he's giving me feedback, if we're doing 10 passes and we want to rotate a full 360 degrees, we just divide how many passes by the full circle, and that's how many degrees we have to rotate for each pass to get full coverage, right? So, very good point. Thank you, Alex. So, again, angle increment 36, so that's like the auto rotate increment on the hatch setting in EasyCAD, for those of you following along. And we're going to start that after I swap to the webcam view. James says, I like that. Thank you, Jimmy. I'm glad you like it. So you guys see how it's rotating around? It's now going at a completely different angle than it was before. So we started at a 90-degree angle, 36 degrees after that, and then 36 degrees after that. It's going to keep working its way around until it makes a full circle. So that's what we were going after, to try and even out some of those lines from digging up the surface that we made. Basically, when you're digging down at depth, like we were doing a 0 degree angle and then 90 degrees earlier. Have a good night, LA Hobby Guy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out with us. So basically, the 0 and 90 degree digs we were doing at the material surface create little peaks. Little ditches in the surface, and by having a more uniform approach like this, where we're going around a full circle 36 degrees at a time, it's going to dig away at those peaks now and even things out, is the goal. Oh, I missed it. Bill Petit became a member of the channel. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Bill. Hanging out, supporting us, doing what we do. Very cool of you. I think I need to put some sunglasses or something over the webcam to try and reduce the brightness so you guys can see the detail as it goes through the paths. Shadow says, heading out. Good night all. Great live stream tonight. I learned a lot. Anxious to see the machete one next. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we appreciate you being here and asking questions. LA Hobby Guy sent us a super chat. Good night all. Don't forget to support the channel. Thank you so much for that $10. We appreciate you. LA Hobby Guy was on the podcast with us, actually, if you guys haven't seen it. Some people don't follow the podcast, and he was with us several months ago. It was a great topic. And if you guys haven't seen that, check that out and check him out too. What do you guys think of the viewers choose style of live stream? You guys got to pick the project. Should we do this again? You guys like it? We got another member to the channel, Paul Parsonage. Thanks for joining up, man. Thank you for your support. Corey says, great idea. Ruben says, I like it. HTL, also a thumbs up. Awesome, guys. That's what I like to hear. James, yes, very interesting. Awesome, awesome. So what I'm hearing is we should do this again sometime. Now, I don't know if you guys... It's really difficult to tell because the webcam is kind of blown out at this angle, but I can already kind of tell that the peaks are now working their way out. So that's a good sign. Clinton says, I was not paying close attention, but I tend to do an auto rotate of 72 degrees with crosshatch. Seems to keep it pretty smooth. Yeah, so basically the more change that you put across each pass, the different angle approach is going to help keep things smooth. Because I dug so deep at the same angles, I'm going to kind of have to work at evening it out a little bit more. So that's just the nature of the way I started it, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's a learning experience. Having the shallower degree approach and multiple passes to complete a full circle is probably a better bet anyway. But definitely probably a better way to go about it, even if you were to use even if I were to use the same settings I used to dig deep, if I did it with an auto rotate, I wouldn't have to spend so much time evening it out now, basically. HTL says, I did that the first couple times too, laid a plaid shirt down. Yeah. That's when my brother texted me. He's like, we're Irish and Scottish, plaid's okay. That's alright. Octopus says, a coin, really? Yep. A coin. Really, really. Alright. Let's take another look. Alright, so what we're going to do now, actually, I should probably show a picture so we can all see the difference. Switch screens. So you can tell there's not quite so much tall peaks now. It's much more uniform and even, and you can really tell what kind of depth we're looking. You can really kind of tell what depth we're looking at here off the edge of the letters now. So it's looking pretty good. So I think what we're going to do is try a cleanup pass on this and see how that looks. So, close that up. And we're going to go back to Ruben's trusty cleaning pass. Just make sure. Take off bidirectional. All right, back to the webcam, and start. Excellent. Okay. So that kind of has a pretty good effect. So I'm going back to Lightburn. And what we're going to do over here, angle increment. We're starting at 90. We're going to do we'll do 36 angle increment and 10 passes again. Yeah. So what that's going to do is it's going to auto-rotate like our last cleanup pass, or not cleanup passes, but our last evening passes did. Let's take a look. I think this warrants showing you guys another photo. Jeremy in the live stream chat goes, the new non-slip grip coin. Indeed. Wrong screen. There we go. So you can tell there's definitely still some texture there, but I think we're going in the right direction compared to this. This was what we had before, and this is what we have now. Before, now. So I think we're going in the right direction. So maybe we'll do, let me see here. For the giggles, let's do it again as is. James says, just did a search for coin blinks on LMA, and yeah, that will keep me busy. A ton of info. Yes. Yes, it will. Ruben says, what I do to clean up lines is do 45 angle bidirectional with that cleanup pass. Yeah. So in this case, the reason why I'm auto-rotating it so much is because I dug so deep, I need to try and knock down the ledges on those little hills I made. We're going to do a change up here. We're going to change the settings here a little bit. So 700 speed, 35 power, 50 frequency. We're going to see what that does for us. Alright, just making sure my angle increment is on. You guys can really see the design popping out now. It's really flattening out nice. Bensom says, what material is this coin? I think it's Coopernickel. But I don't know because it was a gift. Let's take a look. This looks so much better. Okay. I feel bad because I'm kind of spamming the the live stream chat in the Discord server. All right, here, let's show you all what we're looking at. So I think that's looking, well, okay, that's too far. I think that's looking way better. Now, I'm kind of thinking, HCL says he's back, had to restart YouTube, welcome back, bud. James says, starting to really look good. Thank you, sir. I think I kind of want to try, we could stop here, we could keep going with this to keep leveling it out, but I kind of want to try something a little different. I think what I want to do is try brass black deep off of the LMA parameters, because that's what we did to darken up the outline of the first side. And I kind of, first thing I'm going to do is actually save this. just so we can go back to it quickly. But so I think we're going to go back to this. We're going to change the scan angle. To bidirectional crosshatch. Okay. And we're going to see what that looks like. We could stop here again. Alex says the extra ring around the outside of the graphic really adds a lot to the depth of the graphic. Small detail, big difference. I completely agree. I think that made a huge difference. Kelly says, hey all, sorry I'm late. Looking good, Kyle. Real nice detail. Thanks, man. Thanks for showing up. No worries about being late. It's all about being here. So we appreciate you either way. So we're going to try just 2 passes of this. Brass black deep. And again, we have 120 angle. Actually, sorry. We're going to go 1 pass. Because we have crosshatch. We're going to see what that looks like. We can always go back to doing this to clean it up again. So if I mess it up, if you're following along, don't do this step. If I do it good, then do this step. Yeah, you get the point. So webcam, and we'll start it up. Oh, look how much darker that is. Nice. Nurgent says, just woke up, love what I'm seeing so far, greetings from South Africa. Well, welcome in, good to have you. Hope you had a good rest. And we appreciate having you. Yeah, we're just kind of, this is my first coin, so we're kind of experimenting together and just kind of hanging out, having a good time, answering questions. Gordon says, looking great. Can you imagine having to do 50 of these coins? Hopefully the money has to be right. Yes. So if I was going to do this again, I would, especially if I was doing more than one, I'd be doing 4 at a time. These are 31.75 millimeters wide, so like 1 1/4 inch, if you, that helps. So we can basically fit 4 of these jigged up into the size of a 110 lens comfortably. Arguably we could do 4 of them on a 70 millimeter lens. I would be looking at getting a smaller lens to kind of dig that power in a little bit better, and I would also be taking these settings and basically setting up all the layers I did automated so that it runs through all of them together, which would reduce my cycle time and hands-on time. So all I would have to do is set up the layers, hit start after framing it, and then once all the passes are done, flip them all over and run side 2. But yeah, they do take some time. Coins are kind of, it's kind of a special place, especially if you're going deep with them. Avito says, please make a Bitcoin coin. I've done a Bitcoin hot plate. I could do a Bitcoin coin, maybe in the future. Alex says, I'm out, boys and girls. Kyle, keep killing it, Kyle. Don't forget to check out the LMA to support the channel. Links to that and the free Discord and Facebook group in the description. Smash the like button. What Alex said. Thank you, Alex. Have a good night, brother. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out. $150 coins is a heck of a time investment. 40 millimeters, so they're even bigger than the ones I have too. So that would be a little too big to fit 4 on a 70 millimeter lens. So you were probably rocking at least like a 110, huh? Everybody say goodnight to Alex. Send that man a big ol' heart. Avito says, does this laser produce warpage, especially on such a small coin? So, it can. When I'm engraving really thin metal business cards, like 0.2 millimeter, it will absolutely warp. It'll start to curl the card up. With a coin this thick, it would take so much to get it to warp. It's not going to happen on something like this. Especially because when you go to pick up the coin, it does get warm, but because we're moving so quickly, we're not really digging in at this point. It's not really producing so much heat. Like, it's not so heat soaked I wouldn't be able to go pick up the coin right when it's done on the laser. Ah, so you were doing them one at a time, Ben. So 70 lens, one at a time. It took days to do. I don't remember how many. Oof. Yeah, that's a serious time investment then. So if you ended up going with... So with a 70, the coins will go faster. In theory, you could burn through them faster. If you ended up moving up to like a 100 millimeter or a 110 lens, depending on if you were working with OPEX or non-OPEX lenses, you could jig up 4 of them and get 4 of them aligned, and just that way it's less time for you to invest in like swapping and doing all that. But it's kind of a trade-off. You can either do them faster one at a time, or you can do them a little slower and do several of them. I'm kind of limited because I only have a 110 lens or a 200 right now. So I could order a smaller one, but that's all right. We're almost done with this pass, and we'll check out what it looks like. Alright, you can get a good look at it. Alright, so it is looking darker. But it's very difficult to tell because it's very sooty. I don't know if you guys can tell, but between the coin and the exhaust, it's starting to pick up a pretty good stroke of material. Ben says, I think roughly 20 minutes aside, I need to get a 110. I have a 70 and a 290. Wow, that's... Yeah, so you have a bigger range than I do. I'm working with a 110 and a 200. So I have like a larger middle size and a larger small size. You have a super small and a super large. Yeah, I need a small one. Avito says, what is the decent cost to charge for lasering? It depends on the project and everything. If it's a one-off, it's going to be more than if you're doing bulk runs of stuff. What happens to the removed material vapor? It's ablated, so it turns into metal dust. So it's very important that you have an exhaust. That the little foil you see on the top left, that is a 6-inch duct that I have connected to a duct fan, a centrifugal duct fan, and it's pulling all the ablated material outside, basically, so that I'm not breathing it. Very important, very important. Kelly says, hey Kyle, curious, what camera are you using to capture this? The webcam is just the generic 1080p webcam from Nexigo, and this camera is a Canon EOS RP with a wide-angle lens. So, depends on which camera you're referring to. So, in all fairness to you guys, I want to make sure I'm sharing the most recent photo, since you guys are sticking along for the ride so far. So, let me pull it up from Discord. There we go. So you can see it's pretty sooty now. So it's kind of hard to tell. I like that it's darker. This is where having Patrick's Air Assist set up would really, really help. I agree. Thanks, Kelly. I think it looks great too. I think we're going to go back to doing a cleanup pass, though, just because I like the darker look. I'm not in love with the texture going on, though. And I don't want to move it and screw up the alignment. So we're going to go back here. We're going to assign Ruben's cleanup layer. 10 passes at 36-degree angle increment. Yeah, that works. And we're going to give it another go. See if that looks how we want it when it's done. I'm also going to go turn up the exhaust fan a little bit. I'm sorry if it comes across on the mic. So Ben says, I got a nice black on the Kupernickel dog tag earlier with my 30 watt, but forgot to save the settings. I want to say it was 600 speed, 100 power, 30 frequency. Was the horizontal with the red lines. Yep. So standard hatch, I think. Oh wait, no, that's Snake. Sorry. we're going to do it one more time. And since we're on the subject of somebody asking me to do a Bitcoin, I'll quickly show you. This is a 7-inch core cot plate that I did with a diode for part of a review we did a couple months ago, if you're curious. So, just wanted to share. Alright. I think we're calling it there. I'm happy with that. So what we're going to do, you can kind of see, it is a little warm. It's not too bad. So that's side one. And that's side two. Give me one moment. I'm going to find a rag. Vito says, what's the difference? Earlier all the power was at one point, now it is like a wave. I'm not sure what you mean. Can you try rephrasing what you mean? Just so I could try and understand it a little bit differently. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. I'm just wiping off all the nasty so we can kind of get a better comparison. Let's see if I can get this focused in. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards and covering half of the screen. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It is nice and deep. It's got a very nice texture to it, actually. It kind of reminds me of rough marble, actually. And then we got yeah, kind of like a sandblast look. Yep. Absolutely. I'm very happy with that. What do you guys think? Not bad for a day one coin? Pretty good. Well, we've been at it for a little over 3 hours. Anybody have any final questions? Tyler says, looks good to me. Thank you, bro. See if I can get a good beauty shot here. Throw up on screen too. Ben says, better than my first. Wendy says, awesome for your first one. Great job. Thanks, guys. And HCL says, yeah, can I go to bed now? You can go to bed now, bud. I appreciate you hanging out. I'm glad I did you proud. Thank you, bro. Nurgent says it looks nice. We'll have to go and watch this live stream from the beginning. Absolutely. We were hanging out. We were answering questions. So there might be a good nugget of info there if you're looking. Gordon says, well done, Kyle. Thank you, mate. If you guys want to see the final photos, we're going to throw them into the Laser Everything live stream chat on the Discord if you want to take a look at them on your screen at full resolution. Kelly says, amazing. I'll be watching this again tomorrow with a lot of pausing to learn settings. Headed back to bed. Thanks, Kyle. Anytime. Thanks for hanging out, sticking with us. HTL says, smash the like button. Good night, all. Good night, bud. Thanks for hanging out. And one other thing I will show. Easy from chat, one of our buddy moderators here, shared a photo. I want to pull up. I gotta switch screens. Hang tight. Sharing a photo of his coin with us. So he was with us doing a coin while we were doing a coin. So thank you, bro. Thanks for hanging out and following along. Ben says, any problems with me posting a few places to get blanks? If you're in the LMA, there's actually a buy-sell trade area. I would suggest going there. In the Discord, there's not really a great place. What you can do is you can look in, there's actually a coins chat in the Hot Topics section. You can ask where people are finding their blanks if you'd like. But we don't really encourage sales within the community through the Discord or Facebook because it doesn't really generally end well usually. But we will also have people who are selling coin blanks on the Laser Everything marketplace when that goes live. So keep an eye out for that as well. Chip says, loved it, learned a lot. Thanks, Chip. I'm glad you got something out of it, got value, and appreciate you hanging out. So I think we're going to end it there. We accomplished our goal for tonight. You guys picked a coin, and we did it. So thank you guys for hanging out and being the dungeon master to my journey today. And we'll have to do this again soon. Seems like you guys enjoyed giving me feedback and picking my quest, my journey. So seems like we'll have to do this again. And Ben says, I read a few comments earlier, so I was going to make a few suggestions, but I understand, no problem. You can make a suggestion, that's fine, but it gets hairy when it's user to user direct sales. We don't really like that. Just because a lot of the time it ends in sour feelings between people, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to encourage people being upset with each other, if that makes sense. So great work from Matt. Thank you, Matt. Paul says, thanks, Kyle. Awesome. James, thanks a bunch. Great video. We appreciate you guys hanging out. So I'm going to head out for the night. It is 1 a.m. and I'm past due for bed. So I hope y'all have a great morning, afternoon, evening. Thanks for hanging out. And if you like this video, smash the like button, get subscribed. If you're not already part of the Discord, link is below. Same with the Facebook. And if you want to get notified of when we go live or post a video, hit the bell icon down below, or join the Discord, because we do an announcement there anytime we do anything as well. And if you want to support the channel, you can join the LMA. It's what allows us to do what we do here every day. So thank y'all for hanging out. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Best community ever. And everybody have a great night. Take care and see you in the next one.